buddies. This is the plus size in the robin egg for the Stone Point tunic. I just did the armhole and I wanted to show you guys how it was done because I'm going to deconstruct it. I'm just pulling out a few rolls. It's no big deal. I'm going to show you how many things that can go wrong that don't matter. This is where you can adjust everything. You're going to love this part. So I've, for one, let's go over the first thing. I crochet unevenly, well, just because, and sometimes on purpose to show you guys. Like, here's the spot right here. It's very uneven. All you do is when you do this and then this, you pull it, and then when you block it, those inconsistencies will be gone. Now you can't like miss a stitch or anything. That would show, but uneven crocheting, don't worry, because I know this hook is awkward to work with, but I just want to stay consistent. Okay, so deconstructing this, I have begun the increase on the bottom and the back. Now look how this is the front, this is the yoke. I decrease, here's 2 rows of the armpit, and then here's where the increase starts for the back, and I mark that just because it's easier when I'm single crocheting around. Okay, and then here's the armpit. I marked. Now the armpit is open. Remember those clips I told you about? I clip them shut so you can try it on. I'm going to deconstruct that, take that off. Okay, this is the armpit. Now I'm just going to start pulling this out to show you. I adjusted my row count. You can't even see it, but I put, you know, when you increase, you put 2 single crochet in the last one. No one even noticed. It's in the armpit. You cannot tell. But yeah, my dog is in here. Come, go on out, Callie. I would love to have her in here, but who knows what she's going to do. I actually needed an extra one. I did it on purpose. I put 2 in this one and 2 in this one. You cannot tell. You're going to be single crocheting around the edge. No one will see it. This is the place where you can fix all sorts of things. So deconstructing. Don't freak out. I'm just going to pull it out. So see how this is the beginning of the increase and to match the front. And this is the beginning of the back. I marked where I began the back because when you single crochet around, this will be helpful, especially because you kind of know where to stop when you're putting the trim on. And so I'm deconstructing. You can see that I you know, look at this big loop here. That will cover up all of these things. None of them will show. There's so many goof ups on the other sweaters you just wouldn't even believe. So I'm deconstructing it. Here's where, and I counted my rows. I did it, you know, I just did a multitude of just inconsistencies, because we'll just say it's my first armhole ever, that maybe some of you guys are doing this way, but there's no reason to do it a different way. I mean, you don't have to. So deciding on the armpit for this, it's best to make the armpit needs to be in multiples of 6 because of how many it takes for the shells. It's better to have the armhole an extra 3 on this side, 3 on this side, because you can just slip stitch up here and you can make it smaller, but you can't make it bigger. So if in doubt, make the armhole too big. And when we do sleeves, you'll see why it'll help. So anyhow, I'm deconstructing. Please don't have a fit. I do this stuff all the time. And it's no big deal. I just want to show you how this goes. I mean, this is exactly how you think. You know, here's the beginning of the back. I'm going to pull out, and I like added stitches. Everything is done at the ends, so it doesn't matter. So we're pulling this out, and blocking will fix all the inconsistencies. And when you do this chain, some people do foundation stitches when they break away. Well, if you do that, you just even if the other armhole is a little inconsistent, you can always add an extra row, but I'll show you why the foundation stitch, it's easier, but it's not, it may mess you up if this is your first time. Okay, so now what I did to get to this point. Okay, so I'll show you this part and then I'll deconstruct it to prove it to you. Now see how this looks longer. What I did was, before I made sure I was ended down at the bottom, because remember, every change you make, you've got to be at the bottom of the bodice. What I did was I went to the top, and I knew that I needed a 48 stitches around. So that meant I had to go 24 from the top. So I counted 24 from the top. I put a little magnetic balls, and I was at the bottom. So I counted from the top, put that in, and then I crocheted from the bottom just up, because I knew this is where to stop. And then, and I'll show you in a second. And then, okay, so I crocheted up, stopped here, and then started chaining and broke away. And so I chained one more than what this was, because everybody's armhole, it might be a little bit different, and everybody's torso measurement is going to be different. So telling you how many to go up from here isn't going to help you. It's just knowing how many you need to leave open here for the armhole that matters. So I knew I needed to leave that. So I crocheted a single crochet to the ball, or any marker you have. It really doesn't matter. It broke away, and then I chained the 24 that I knew was here to match up. Okay, and then I chained one extra because we ignore the turning chain. I turned and single crocheted back down the chain, and then attached again here. And so there was no where do I attach it or anything. I mean, the chain's already attached. You just keep following the chain down, and that's all you do. And then this marker was to show where I was going to. After that, you're done. The armhole is done. It's 2 rows. And please try it. It's worth it. It's 2 rows, and then you instantly begin the back, which is just the exact same as panel 1. This is panel 1. This is panel 2. The beginning of the back will be an exact duplicate of 1. Now remember, however many rows was here is how many you want to do here. But you can easily fold it over like we did with this and match up these. These are every 2 rows. 2, 4, 6, 8. So you have markers on the end. That's why these nice loops help you. Okay, so I'm going to deconstruct. I'm going to pull this out. Sorry about that. This is hard to do. So I'm deconstructing it, and I'm showing you just how it was done. And it was just when I got to the end, when I got to the bottom before I crocheted up and broke off, I just did it normally. I got to the bottom, and I just did it normally. I chained 1, turned, and crocheted in the second stitch from the hook without any increase or decrease. It doesn't matter. If you accidentally increase it or decrease it, you can just add it on. You can do anything in these armpits as long as it's at the beginning or the end. So, all right, so as I deconstruct, you're going to see this is where, and there are really good instructions in vivid blue in the pattern. They're very good instructions. This is all in there, but I just wanted you to see it because it's kind of fun to follow along and do this together. So this is my 25 chain, and here's where I turned and crocheted back along the chain and came down and attached to the bodice. So I'm going to keep deconstructing. There's my chain, you know, and here's 24 stitches, so that meant I did 25 turned and didn't count the turning stitch. And so I'm going to go all the way down. So here's where I'm done with both sides. And I did end up on the bottom of this, but if I didn't end up at the bottom after crocheting the second part of the bodice, I would crochet to the bottom. It doesn't matter. A little row on one side or the other won't make any difference. If it bothers you, make it up on the other side, but I promise no one will ever see it. And so it was at this point where I chained one, turned, and crocheted in the second stitch from the hook as a normal with no increase or decrease. Here's where I did that. And then crocheted up. I counted. I have to count down from the armhole. That's the only thing that matters. Put something there. Then crochet up to that point, then you're going to break away with a chain. And that's all there is to the armpit. Don't worry about these inconsistencies. Don't worry about the big stuff. As this pulls down, it lays just perfectly. It's no big deal. Just be brave, go on. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing a video for the back bodice. I'll do it when I get to the other armhole, simply because it's the same thing as the front. It's that simple. And if you maybe put an extra row on your first one, all you do is you mirror and match the other side. It doesn't matter. I mean, like if I were making this for someone who was pregnant, I would probably make the whole front panel bigger than the back panel just to make it lay pretty on them. So don't worry, guys. This will be real easy to check as you go. You'll have to count stitches on this armhole and the other armhole, but otherwise, and make sure your stitch count stays the same, and otherwise there's not a lot of counting. So have fun, carry on, bye.